Hi guys, I'm Suzy and welcome to This Adulting Thing. If you're new to my channel, we're talking about all things adulting and all of the struggles of trying to be an adult. Today I am going to start with a statement. I don't want to party anymore. It may make me sound really old, and I'm not even that old. I'm 29, but I have got to that point where partying just does not do it for me anymore. I feel like I had my time at uni. I was never a mad party person, but I would go out once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week if I didn't feel too rough. But I was like 18, 19, 20, and it was fine. It was fun. I enjoyed going out then. But as I've moved through my 20s, I just don't really get the appeal of going out and getting drunk and partying anymore. Now that's no shade on the people who do like to do that, but it's just not me anymore. I'm at that point now where, to me, especially with the cost of living and everything, alcohol and going out and partying just doesn't really appeal. I would much rather spend my money doing something really cool, going out for a really nice meal or doing some sort of activity, whereas if I spend it on alcohol, I feel like I'll just end up peeing it out later in the night, or worst case scenario, throwing it back up. And it just doesn't feel worthwhile. It doesn't really feel fun. I don't enjoy that feeling of being drunk anymore, and I definitely don't enjoy the hangover the next day. One thing I've always really struggled with, even when I was at uni, is really bad hangxiety. So if you don't know what hangxiety is, it's kind of how it sounds. It's a hungover and anxiety mashed together. It is not a fun combination. I can be kind of prone to anxiety anyway, and when I'm hungover, the alcohol just makes me feel 10 times worse. It makes me feel really emotional, really sad. And I'm like, this is my day off and I'm spending it feeling absolutely awful. I don't know whether anxiety is something that you've ever suffered with, but alcohol is a depressant. So generally when you are hungover, that can then come out. At the time you feel great and you're having a great time with your friends, whatever. But the next day it does kind of catch up with you. And it definitely used to catch up with me. So that was just one of the reasons I decided that going out and partying just wasn't for me anymore. That's not to say I don't like to go out and have a good time. I can go out and have a good time, but I don't need alcohol to do that. When I was at uni, there was always that peer pressure. I don't really respond to peer pressure. It just doesn't really affect me that much. But there was always that peer pressure. If you were going out, oh, you should be drinking. You haven't got a drink? Have one, have one, have one. And I just used to find it really annoying because if I didn't want to drink, it's like, I don't want to drink. Like, what's the big deal? I don't need to drink. You can drink if you want to. That's absolutely fine. But why are you trying to make me drink for you to feel better about drinking yourself? Sometimes there is still peer pressure, even as you start to approach 30. One of my best friends, we met up and she was saying the whole time, oh, come on, have a bit more. Have another drink. Have another drink. And I was like, I really don't want to. I just don't want to. I'm happy with a soft drink. It's fine. And that kind of peer pressure to drink is definitely still there in society, 100%. And once I told her, look, I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be pressured to drinking. She was fine about it. She realised that she was maybe pushing it a bit too hard. But I think a lot of people still feel that pressure that if you're going out, you have to get drunk. Or even feeling that you might be missing out socially. If you turn down that party or if you turn down the night out, you're going to miss out on that kind of social interaction. But there's so many ways to be social. There's so many more ways that don't involve going out and getting drunk and having a party. Plus, alcohol is crazy expensive. Like, if you go into town and try and get a cocktail, they're like at least £9-10 now. Whereas before you could get one for probably a £5. They have seriously gone up in price. I could do some serious online shopping with that money as well. These days I am 100% a night in kind of girl. I love a night in. I love chilling, putting on a movie, maybe like getting some popcorn, getting some snacks and just closing the curtains, blocking out the world and just having a really relaxed time. One thing me and my boyfriend do quite a lot is at-home date nights. So Between us, we'll choose a recipe that we want to make and we'll spend the evening cooking together, and then we'll have a nice meal and we'll watch something. And it's really, really fun. For me, doing something fun together, cooking something nice, and just chilling is far more appealing than walking around town in heels that I can barely stand in and freezing outside of clubs trying to get in and trying to get an Uber back at crazy o'clock in the morning and being hit with the massive surcharge they always put on when it gets to like 1-2 a.m. just because you don't like a big night out or going to the pub or going to a club. I don't think that should make it feel like you're a boring person. And definitely when I was younger, it felt like that was the stereotype. If you want to stay in, if you want to watch TV, if you want to play some games, whatever it is, if you want to do that, that makes you a little bit dull, a little bit boring. Because all the exciting people are off partying around town, like getting drunk until the early hours of the morning. But things change. You're not always going to be that person who can run around town and get drunk. When I was going out at uni, I had days of just empty time. I might have a lecture here and there, but I had nothing to do. I didn't have to go to work. I didn't have to look after a flat. I didn't have to do all of the things that I do now. So it was a bit of a different situation. I like a night out occasionally. It was my best friend's hen party last year. And at the time, I probably hadn't been on a night out in about a year, maybe, by the time that came around. And I went out and I had a great time. I'm not saying I don't like to go out and have the occasional fun night out, but it's just not that weekly or fortnightly occurrence that it used to be when I was younger. Maybe I'm just becoming more chill in my old age, but I like to just have generally a more peaceful, restful time. I feel like a stereotype now. I'll stay in and I'll watch EastEnders shamelessly. But ultimately, it's about what you enjoy, what makes you happy, what gives you energy. So how about you? Would you say you're more of a night in or a night out person? I would love to know, so hit me up in the comments. That is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of This Adulting Thing. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated, and I will catch up with you really soon.